Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, we'll alert you to the dangers of diabetes. Then, what are the top 3 financial concerns? We have the answer and advice. We'll look at eye ailments that arise as we age and see what can be done. Plus, we'll pick your brain to boost its power. And if your spouse dies, can you still access your joint accounts? We'll help you bank on it.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Tuesday, March 28th is the day to mark on your calendar. It's the American Diabetes Association Alert Day. Dr. Kimberly Chen is here to tell us how on that day, or any day, we can determine if we are at risk for developing diabetes. Dr. Chen is the Senior Medical Director at Medical Mutual of Ohio. So welcome to the show. Now, before we focus on March 28th specifically, tell us why we really need an alert day with regard to this disease.
Well, approximately 30 million of Americans, adults and kids, has diabetes type 2. And 86 million people has diabetes, pre-diabetes, which put them at an increased risk for developing diabetes later on in life. So it is very important for us to be able to be aware and protect ourselves and also our loved ones.
Okay, so why is diabetes so dangerous?
Well, diabetes can cause heart disease, stroke, and also some permanent damage to your organs such as eyes, kidneys, and nerves. It can be even more dangerous if it goes untreated and undiagnosed.
Okay, but if it's diagnosed, it can be treated, right?
Well, I mean, it can be managed and improved. Healthy lifestyle and also medical treatment are crucial. Another important thing is to make sure you check your blood sugar regularly because they could have very serious consequences as diabetic coma.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we don't want to fool around with that. The Diabetes Alert Day is the first step because it can help us determine if we have some risk factors, correct?
Absolutely. There is actually a website that have you take a very short, quick test to determine your risk for diabetes. It asks you 7 simple questions such as your age, family history, and your weight, and other risk factors that help you to detect your risk.
Okay. Do you have a kind of little sample test for us here today?
Yeah,
we can get prepared for the big one?
Absolutely. Well, one question is, do you have high blood pressure? There is a correlation between high blood pressure and developing diabetes. Well, there's another question. How old are you? The older you are, the more likely you will have diabetes. And just one more question. Are you a male or female? Well, male tend to have diabetes or more likely to have the increased risk because they don't go to doctors.
Oh, of course that. Those men never listen to their doctors, do they?
No.
So you can go online and ask yourself these questions and see if you've got an issue for it. And if you do find out you might have some risk factors?
Yes. The test is online all year long. It can be accessed at
I think we had it up on the screen earlier, so it's like diabetes.org. Are you at risk /diabetes/risk test? I'm sure they can find it and Google it.
Absolutely.
So do you have to wait till the date of the alert, or you said it was online all the time? You don't have to wait until March 28th?
Yeah, absolutely. It's online all the time. And American Diabetes Alert Day is an opportunity, a one-day wake-up call for to tell everybody, American public, to take that test that day and to really help you to determine the risk for diabetes.
And see your doctor.
Absolutely.
All right. Many of us could have diabetes or pre-diabetes and not even know it. Don't gamble on your health. Take the diabetes risk test and share the results with your doctor. My thanks to Dr. Chen for alerting us to the Diabetes Alert Day.
Learn more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by calling 1-844-606-5387 or by visiting www.medmutual.com/go. Next, calming your financial concerns. But first, IBM stands for International Business Machines Corporation. But in the beginning, back in 1911, the company was called CTR. What do those letters stand for? We'll spell out the answer when we return.
Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care, where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio, and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
IBM was originally known as CTR, which stands for the Computing Tabulating Recording Company. A new company president, Thomas Watson, never liked the name and in 1924 made the big change to IBM, which he clearly thought was A-OK.
We all worry about money, but there are 3 areas of financial concerns that consistently top the list, and Jim Lineweaver is here to check them off. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back to the show.
Good to see you.
Now, when we're talking about these 3 areas, we're not including the stock market on the list because that is a concern all the time for everybody.
Exactly.
So, but aside from that, what should we be focusing on?
Well, what ends up happening is that some people overlook this, but when you have assets and you're thinking about how to possibly preserve them or pass those to the next generation, a lot of people forget how this step up in basis works on different accounts. And it can be a big deal because let's say you bought something for $10,000 and through your life it's now worth $100,000. If that's not handled correctly, then you may pay taxes on that additional $90,000, right? So your spouse may not be happy with that, your kids may not be happy, so you work long and hard for the money, why don't we try to keep it? So there's ways, typically if you have something in a joint account and then one spouse passes away, maybe only half of that account gets a step up. So you say, well, do I just put half the money in your name and half in mine? But that leads to other problems. But there are ways that you can set up different trusts so that you can actually preserve that, what's called step up in basis. So in other words, if you did pay the $10,000 and it jumps to $100,000, if either you or your spouse passes away, they might be able to sell that for the $100,000 and not pay the capital gains taxes. Certain pros and cons with it, you got to be careful with it, but there's ways to structure this so you can really maximize the wealth to you and your family.
Okay, well that sounds like an important concern. The next is a really big concern I know for most people is long-term care.
Yeah, not only am I living this through my clients, but it affected my own family as well. My dad was in a nursing home for 2.5 years before he died. My mom's going on about 7 years in an assisted living facility.
Oh, man, yeah.
What happens is, there's a huge depletion of assets when these things occur, and you want them to have the best quality that they possibly can. So you're either going to look at probably self-insuring these, which can be, sometimes $10,000, $12,000 a month or more.
That's right.
Or what you're going to do is you may have insurance to rely on with long-term care insurance, but we're finding that those prices keep increasing every year because people are living longer, and obviously those insurance companies have to pay more.
Some people get priced out of the market.
You really do. So there's some other options that you can look at as well with the trust, where you might be able to combine some gifting to get some money out of your estate or protect some of those assets for your family and loved one. You have the $14,000 per person per year that you can gift, but if you want to do more, we all have that exclusion that's over $5 million that we can take advantage of as well. So we're going to be diving a little more into detail in a seminar that I'll talk to viewers about in a little bit.
Now the third one kind of surprised me. Protecting your money from your spendthrift children.
Yes, you probably have an idea whether they're a spendthrift or not already, right? But needless to say, if you really want to try to protect your money and you're worried about the kids, because you might have put a lot of sweat equity into this, and the kids in this generation, they feel they're more entitled, and money comes a lot easier these days. So if you really want to try to protect that and make sure you're doing the right things, you might want to get a trust, or maybe you can do a stretch IRA. There's multiple tools you can use, but you might want to put some age restrictions around it. Like what I've done for my kids is that we have, they don't get any money till they're 35 and then 40, and the last distribution's at 45. So they might be upset with me.
Are
but
they
at least-
listening today?
yeah, really, yeah. There might be a conversation at our next dinner. But needless to say, I wanted some things to wrap that up, so that hopefully, by the time they hit 35, they might be able to start to handle some money on some type of an inheritance.
And you mentioned a seminar coming up.
Yes, what happens is we're going to be covering this and a lot more topics at our seminar that's coming up on March 21st at 1 p.m. and also March 23rd at 6 p.m. There is no obligation to your viewers, but it does fill up fast, and we'd be happy to have them come and learn some more.
All right, so they can just show up and get some more information about these 3 big concerns.
Yes, that'd be great.
All right. You'll want to make the most of your money, so it's important to pay attention to each of these areas that Jim listed. If you need help with 1 or 2 or all 3, give Jim a call. His number is next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next, your aging eyes. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. If it's powered by a piston, it's earned a place in the 2017 iX Piston Powered Autorama, held March 17th through the 19th at the iX Center. This show features over 1,000 vehicles, ranging from custom cars to tractors to planes and even military equipment. Want to drive home more information? Then call 216-265-2514 or visit www.pistonpowershow.com.
We know as we get older, our vision changes. We hold papers a little bit further away to read or invest in cheater glasses to make reading them easier. But there are other more serious issues that can arise as we age. Dr. Douglas Rhee has joined us in the UH broadcast studio to open our eyes to these ailments. Dr. Rhee is an internationally recognized glaucoma surgeon and the chair of ophthalmology at University Hospital's Eye Institute. So welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're going to talk briefly, actually we're going to look briefly at some eye issues. Let's start with glaucoma. What is that?
Sure. So glaucoma is a condition in which the pressure inside the eye is too high for the optic nerve to withstand. And if it's uncontrolled, then you can permanently lose vision and it can make you blind. It's much more common as we get older, but it can affect all age groups. As we get older, over the age of 60 per se, it affects roughly about 3 to 5% of individuals of European ancestry. Of persons of African or Latino ancestry, you multiply that number by about 1.5 to 2.0.
Oh,
so
boy.
it's actually highly prevalent in the demographic of golden opportunities.
Okay, wow, all right. So that's why you get that little poof in your eye when you go to the eye doctor?
Yeah, so that's the old way of checking pressure, and some people still do that, but it's certainly something we all remember as we were kids, that air puff of test. But now what you'll see, the way we measure pressure is there's actually something that comes very close. It's the blue light, and it gently touches the front of your eye, and it measures the pressure. It sounds like it's going to
Sounds awful.
Sounds like it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's not. We numb your eye, and it's such a gentle touch that theoretically you could even do it without anesthesia, but we still give it to you. It's just such a gentle touch, but it's very important and provides us a wealth of information, both diagnostically as well as we monitor for treatment.
So what's the treatment?
So the treatment for glaucoma is to lower the eye pressure. We have multiple modalities in which we do that. We use drops, we can use laser, we can use incisional surgery. For the individual person, we will sometimes not always follow the same algorithm, but in general, we do eye drops first, and then usually we move on to laser, and then to incisional surgery. However, there could be specifics to an individual's case or severity in which we might need to, skip to one right away.
Okay. Macular degeneration is also something that can cause blindness. So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness in the United States. What it does is there's an aging degeneration that causes loss of vision in the very center of the vision. So the periphery is largely left intact, but the center is gone. And with the center being gone, then if I were to look at you, your face would be missing, and that would be a shame because it would be hard to recognize you. It means that you have trouble reading or watching, television. And so a lot of the joys that we have as we're getting older is to see your kids grow up, your grandkids grow up, and reading and television. Those become extraordinarily challenging with macular degeneration. It's much more common, again, as we get older. It's more common in persons of European ancestry, but it can affect persons of any ethnicity. We do have some treatments for it. There's two different forms. There's the dry form and the wet form. For the dry form, our treatments are more at delaying the progression, but there's a lot of research going on to see if we can intervene and maybe even restore vision. They're actually for the wet form of macular degeneration, which used to be considered the more aggressive form and the worst prognosis. We actually do have treatments that can help improve vision. Those do involve injections into the eye, and I know that sounds even worse.
Yeah.
sounds even worse than checking the pressure, but if you speak to people who have had it, who undergo the injections on a monthly basis, it actually hurts less than getting an immunization shot in your arm. So it's actually very well tolerated, and it also has a side benefit of actually improving the vision, so people are pretty motivated to have it.
Yeah, I would bet.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish we could talk more about eye issues.
Sure.
We'll have to have you come back another time.
Absolutely.
Your vision is essential to maintaining your normal daily life, so follow Dr. Rhee's advice and be sure to have an annual eye exam. Look for these things. Early detection of any kind of issues like this could help save your sight. My thanks to Dr. Rhee for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
For more information, call University Hospital's Eye Institute at 216-844-3601 or log on to www.uhhospitals.org. Up next, Games for Brains. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we're here today to show you how to do a donkey kick. This is an excellent exercise. It's not only going to work and strengthen that lower back area, but also it's going to build the glutes. You ready?
I need this.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to start on all fours. Here in the studio, we have our exercise mats. You at home, go ahead and grab a spot on the floor. We want our hands to be shoulder width apart. Our knees should be about the same. What we're looking for here is we're going to bring our knees straight in, and then we're going to try to keep a 90-degree bend as we bring it straight up and out. Perfect, okay? So we're going to bring it in and then up and out. We want 12 to 15 repetitions. Let's go ahead. We can switch and try the other side. In and out. All right. How you feeling, Lori?
Really good.
Looks good. All right, Lori's doing a slightly easier version of this.
I need a slightly easier version of this.
There you go. Those beginners at home, this is a way that you can build that muscle and still strengthen the same area, okay? 12 to 15, 2 to 3 times a week. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
We all want to be in the best shape we can be, but does your workout also build brain power? Crystal Color is here with ways to exercise your mind, plus a list of hazards that can harm your brain's health. Crystal is the director of the Center for Brain Health at Menora Park. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So your center actually has cognitive brain fitness classes to give your brain a workout, right?
We do. To date, we've offered over 50 different topics on brain health and wellness classes. We have them staged from beginner, intermediate, and advanced. All of our classes cost $10 to $15.
So it's affordable.
It is, and we've covered a wide variety of topics from meditation, your brain on nature, understanding the benefits of memory enhancement, all the things that you can do in your daily life to give your brain a little boost.
Okay, and the classes are huge and overwhelming or tiny and manageable?
They are small. We keep them small and intimate so people can have that socialization, but also the time to ask their questions right when they're in the forefront of their mind.
Right, and not so intimidating that way.
Yes.
Do you have to be at a certain age in order to have, or have some type of memory issue diagnosis to benefit from the classes?
Not at all. Our classes are open to any adult in the community. We've had a wide range of people come in looking for very different topics. So we usually ask people to give us a call, and if there's something they want to learn or an area of concern, we can guide them to a class that would better support them.
Okay, so what kind of things would you recommend for somebody who's just getting started, they're a beginner at their mental training?
Yes, we usually recommend people want to take our brain health and wellness class. That lays the foundation for all the areas of brain health and the things you want to do, from your cognitive fitness, your emotional wellness, social well-being, and taking care of your personal health. All those things are very important to have a healthy body and a healthy mind.
All right, so get started just recognizing all these things. Several of the areas figure into determining risk factors, right? And so you have a way to determine how healthy your brain may even be in the future based upon risk factors, right?
Yes, that's what a lot of the research shows us. And one of the new services we have coming out is brain health coaching, where we work with people one-on-one to help them identify those brain health risks and things that they can do to modify their lifestyle. So luckily, you can work on your diet, you can work on your physical exercise, but also working out your brain. The importance of getting sleep, which most Americans don't do in general.
Yeah, that's a big problem for many people, huh? What's the recommended number of hours?
At least 7 to 9 hours is usually the recommendation.
9, wow.
Yes, and luckily we see that, you know, brain health is 30% genetics, so we can't blame our parents for as much as we'd like. But luckily the other 70% are lifestyle. And all those risk factors we just saw on the screen are things that people can do and have control over to better support their brain health and wellness long term.
So it kind of, I mean, your health, your body, physical health works hand in hand with your brain health, it seems, right? I mean,
yes,
all the things that are good for you are good for your brain too, so.
Very true.
And all of the things you're doing in these events and the classes are getting the center some really well-deserved recognition.
Yes, we've been very fortunate. In November, we were recognized by the International Council on Active Aging as one of the most innovative active aging programs in North America.
All right.
Yes, and we've recently found out from the American Society on Aging that we'll be receiving their Mind Alert Award, which recognizes cognitive fitness programming designed by nonprofit organizations nationwide.
Wow, so congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
And I bet that's going to draw people to your program. So if you want to boost your brain, you got to make the most of your memory. Reduce your risk factors. It's actually easy and fun to do. To learn more about these classes or other services, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Crystal for sharing her brain power with us today. Thank you.
Find out more by calling the Center for Brain Health at 216-839-6685 or visit www.centerforbrainhealth.org. Next, yours, mine, and ours.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back with advice on joint and survivorship accounts. Probate avoidance is a goal of most people. One of the common methods to avoid probate is a joint and survivorship account. It's easy to set up and it works perfectly most of the time, but there can be problems. Joining me is my law partner, Michael Solomon, to explain the traps to avoid with joint and survivorship accounts. So welcome back to the show. So if a parent wants to pass money to a child and avoid probate, all they have to do is go to the bank and make that bank account joint and survivorship, right? It sounds so easy.
That's right. It does, and most of the time it is easy. But let me explain the basic rules. So let's say two people want to set up a joint and survivor account to avoid probate. Ohio law, number one, presumes that they both made equal contributions unless you can prove it's different. So if they split up the account, they each get back what they put in, unless, again, they can show they put it in different ratios. But if the first person passes away, it goes to the survivor, doesn't go through probate. All the survivor has to do is go to the bank or the brokerage account and present a death certificate. And that's how it'll work. The only way you can undo that, Ohio law has made this absolutely clear, is if you show when the account was set up there was fraud or duress or undue influence or they didn't have mental capacity. What that means is that then the family members can't complain that, oh, mom and dad didn't mean to do this. You know, unless it has
pretty much of a done deal.
That's right. So that's how it works, and that's pretty simple in most situations.
Okay, so what goes wrong then? Well,
there was a recent Court of Appeals case that can show what can go wrong. So in this case, mom and dad, second marriage, husband and wife, they put the daughter from the first marriage, a husband's daughter, on the account. They put $100,000 in. I'm going to use that as an example. Husband and wife each put $50,000 in. Husband died. The stepmom said, "Well, I'm entitled to the entire account." Stepdaughter said, "No, it should be split in half." So so you might say, "Well, who's right on that sort of thing?"
Right.
Well, after 3 years of litigation and 4 law firms, the court determined it isn't split evenly. What happens is the wife, if she can prove she put $50,000 in, she gets that back. Then the husband who passed away, his $50,000 is split between them. So the stepmom ended up getting $75,000 and the stepdaughter got $25,000.
Okay. So what's the lesson to be learned?
The lesson to be learned is, except in simple situations, maybe just 2 people, don't do a joint survivor account because a lot of bad things can happen. For example, let's say a widow puts her son on a joint survivor account. Son has a creditor problem or gets a divorce. All of a sudden, the creditors or the ex-spouse goes after that account. Mom, again, after spending thousands of dollars on lawyers, could possibly prove that that's her money, but in the meantime, she's got to do the battle. And there are other problems that can happen. One of the ways to solve that is maybe just have a POD account or a TOD account. You can name a beneficiary, avoid probate, but you don't have those risks.
All right, good information. Even some matters as simple as joint and survivorship accounts have issues. If you're worried that your survivor account may be out of joint, give Mike a call. His number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure and come back next week for more great information. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.